What's up, guys? We're working on a group of prehistoric Native American artifacts. We just got this group back from being certified as authentic. That being said, I want to show you guys a way that, you don't have to be a certified, person who does certificates of authenticity in order to tell whether an item is real or not. And this is a really cool trick that I want to show you guys. So we're working on paleo artifacts. So these are all artifacts from 13,500 to 9,000 years old. So this is deep time. This is a really cool period in Earth's history. What defines the difference in a age of a time period is, especially for prehistoric Neolithic technology, is a change in that technology. So I'll give you an example, is that, so these points here, these are all tools. Every bit of them, they're nothing but tools. They would make one specific type of arrowhead and then come out a few years, 100 years later and come up with a better way of making that arrowhead, and they would make a new technology. Now this is better, so they never would make that arrowhead quite the same. So arrowheads or point types can be used, and most of these are, they're not projectile types, they're tools, they're knives and atlatl darts, things like that. So they would change from, one type to the next. So let me show you some examples. So probably the most paramount one is the Clovis. You can see the Clovis pointed here, and this is the base of a Clovis. The tip is broken off, but it's tailed by that distinctive fluting that's in it. So a little bit later in the Paleo period, they started making a point type called the Midland. So they quit making Clovises and they started making Midlands, these types. And so that technology progressed through. But one of the ways that you can use to, really hone in and see if an artifact is real or not is this, and I'll show you. So the UV is incredibly powerful. I want you to look at this projectile point. Now, this type right here is a plain view. It's another arrowhead out of the Paleo period. And let's turn it on the other side, and it is completely different in color from one side to the other. Now, why is that? Well, the reason is this is an example of an artifact that's laid out and it has been exposed to the sun. So we all know we put, furniture outside and we put things outside, and over time, that sun will start to break down and bleach or degrade whatever that's out there, that we've made that's sitting out. Sometimes car paint will fade over time, or, your patio furniture would break down over time. Well, the same thing is true for these artifacts. The sun's UV is incredibly powerful. I mean, incredibly powerful. So powerful enough that if this item, like right here, laid out exposed to the sun for an extremely long time, will actually bleach the stone white, which is what's happening here. Now, that's something that can't be faked, at least not with today's techniques and technologies. So if you see an artifact that looks like this, that has this white bleaching on one side and has this darker staining on the other, that's not staining, that's actually the original color of the flint material. And this is the side that's been exposed to the sun. But it also tells a really cool story about this piece, because in order to get that staining, it had to have been on the surface for a very long time, decades, if not hundreds of years exposed on the surface, before someone went and collected it and picked it up and saved this history from being totally destroyed. Because being left out exposed to the sun like this for hundreds of more years, the sun's UV is powerful enough that it will break down this rock. UV is part of the erosion process of rocks that a lot of people don't talk about, because it's hard to see that deep time. But that sun can actually break down and weaken that rock, and this is evidence of that rock being weakened in the bleaching of the stone. Is that not freaking cool? So, see, you don't have to be an expert in order to tell whether something's real or not on this thing, because it's such an easy to understand technique that it's just about anybody can pick it up. So if you've got an artifact that looks like this, it's real. You don't have to worry about it. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching. If you want to check out some of our other episodes, go on to our YouTube channel, Chasing History, where we have more in-depth episodes. And if you want to collect some of this history, go to our website, therelicroom.com. Remember, guys, history rocks. Woohoo!